There was an old grandfather clock resting against one wall of the crowded antique and curio shop. No matter how often it was sent out for repairs, it always ran fast. The ticking of the hands perfectly matched the rapid beat of my heart and the unforgiving throb at my temples. The chime rang bright and clear, but it was always 10 minutes before the hour. I rubbed the center of my forehead out of frustration, while the teenager standing across the counter nervously spun a diamond ring around her index finger. Those diamonds were a gift from her uncle, which meant they were undoubtedly real, and there was no practical reason for a 13-year-old girl to own such a pricey piece of jewelry. She couldn't even keep track of her cell phone, which was why she'd shown up at the shop where I worked with no warning. You have to call home and let them know where you are. I blinked back the headache, trying to ruin my day, and watched my one and only niece through narrowed eyes. If you don't call your uncle, he's going to report you missing. That's going to get both of us in trouble. I sighed and reached out, squishing her still round cheeks together so that she had no choice but to make a cute kissy face. She still had enough baby fat on her face that I could see the carefree, sweet little girl she'd been lingering on her delicate features. If your grandma tells law enforcement that I kidnapped you, I don't know that either of us will convince them otherwise. I squeezed her cheeks harder until she jerked her head away. Her green and gold eyes were so much like her mother's. I always felt my heart twist painfully when our gazes locked. Running away from home is dangerous, Winnie. You're fortunate nothing happened to you while you were traveling to the city on your own. I tried to sound stern and authoritative. However, I was neither of those things, and the warning fell flat. The teenager rolled her eyes at me, but I could tell the mention of her grandmother made her nervous.
I told you I lost my phone. I'll call Uncle Chester and let him know I'm safe and that I'm with you. Don't make me go back home right away, Aunt Channing. I hate it there.
Winnie's eyes welled with tears, and I could tell she was really at the end of her emotional rope. I swore under my breath and walked around the counter so I could give my niece a hug. She shuddered when I wrapped my arms around her and dropped her forehead to my shoulder. I patted her back and told her, "Don't call your Uncle Chester. You know how much he hates it." She sniffed loudly and muttered into the fabric of my shirt,
"That's what you call him."
I barked out a dry laugh and tapped her on the back of the head. "I call him that because he and I are sworn enemies. And as my sworn nemesis, there was little I could do to come out on top when it came to Winchester Halliday."